Hello once again, yet again. Cathar Love 107. Aspects of meditation. Meditation was a major factor with the Cathars. It's recounted that when people were walking about their business, they would come across a Cathar sitting on a rock under a tree, deep in meditation. But the Cathars sought to, when they meditated, to connect with the heart. This system is possibly more of a Western system than an Eastern system, and in fact a similar type of meditation is the monks on Mount Athos, the Greek Orthodox monks. There's still one group that actually keep alive this Hesychasm form of meditation. But it's absolutely going inwards to get complete silence. Obviously can't get complete silence outside. Those birds do make a racket at times. The wind in the willows, rustling in the leaves. But we can get that stillness inside. And they were endeavouring to get to the point where the heart could communicate with the divine being the source, your guides, whatever. So my particular system for doing that is just what we call it. For a number of years, when I was meditating, I endeavoured or aspired to get to the point where the mind was blank. And once you get the trick of it, it's quite simple. There's no big secret about how to do it. It's simply taking a word, om, love, whatever. It doesn't matter, because it's not a secret, but a fact about meditation is, or about the mind, which allows meditation, or allows us to assist with meditating, is that the mind can only hold one thought at a time. And so the point is, if you think about a word, om, and you just think about that word, or you think about or concentrate, think rather than concentrate, because it's not it's to get away from concentrating. It's to relax and allow yourself to go into it rather than making an effort. It's in fact the whole idea is to become as effortless as possible and ease oneself into stillness, to the void, into nothingness as much as possible. And so if we just take the word om, which has its own vibration, as an example, it's just a matter of going om, 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 just letting go whichever way it is, but getting less and less and less om, until you're not saying it anymore. It's in the mind, it's going on just in the mind, and it just goes away, drifts away to the point there's nothing there, and suddenly there's stillness. Easy to say, not so easy to do. But the moment you crack it, the moment that you suddenly you realise your mind is a blank. It's a shock. Well, I actually stopped thinking. because our mind's going 24 hours a day. But once you crack into it and you just literally hold that, it's like looking at a blank TV screen, as best describe it. It's just to me, it's just a darkish, not black, but a darkish grey. And when a thought comes, like, oh, tomorrow morning, I've got to do some shopping or something, and tomorrow morning, and you can actually see the thought come, and you can breathe the thought out the way, and you still keep that blank screen. Now, and I found that you can actually do it, and you're driving the car, and your mind's blanked off, and you're driving, and so you're totally aware of what's going on. Everything, you're not in la la land, but your mind's blanked, and you can do it for so long. And then what happens? You go, you see a no turn right, and the moment you do that, of course, that's a thought, and it's gone. But you can swing into that what we call it, no mind thing. It's once you do it, once you've got the trick of it, it's easy to go into it. And if I do it, I might do 4 minutes, 5 minutes, maybe longer, and then often I'll just go into a sleep or whatever, or just I go out of it. It slips beyond my control. But it's at this level of going inwards, and you allow. So you're separating the mind altogether. You're just getting away from the mind, and you're allowing your heart, which is your feelings, your emotions, which the ancient Romans believed, the mind, the Greeks believed it was from the heart. In Chinese medicine, every organ has an intelligence. It's yin and yang, and has an intelligence about it. And even if we don't understand these things, that doesn't mean to say that they're not real. It's just we haven't got some scientific explanation for it at this present time. So the trick to any form of meditation is the mind can only deal with one thought at a time. There's a form of meditation, mindfulness, and that's bringing one's attention to who you are, what you are, where you're at. In mindfulness, it's what sounds can you hear, what's going on in your body, are there any feelings on one side more than another, bringing all your attention to the body. It's a little similar to self-hypnosis or hypnosis, whereby you might think about start from the feet, and then you think about the feet relaxing, and one right foot rather than both, and bring that relaxation up the legs. Then you go on the other foot and bring the relaxation up the legs. That's also a form of mindfulness, but this is how we get into, if you're hypnotizing another person, it's one of the methods is to bring the body and make it totally relaxed, and you work on the arms and the fingers and the head and the ears and the muscles around the head and the neck, and to get the person perfectly relaxed. So this is a system of one of the systems of hypnotizing a person, but it's also the system if you want to practice self-hypnosis oneself. And so by thinking about your hand and these feelings of relaxation creeping up your limbs and so forth, that's very, very similar to mindfulness. So these are all aspects of meditation, all valid, and some people seem to prefer, at this point in time, this method of meditation, and others prefer it another time. There's the other types of meditation, which is using breathing control, which is important. But there's so many different types. For instance, one can hold one's breath for 4 beats, later 4 seconds, and you take your breath in for 4 beats, you hold it for 4 beats, you allow it to breathe out for 4 beats, and when you let it, you've expelled your breath, you also hold it with no air until you, for 4 beats, and then you breathe again. So it's 4, 4, 4, 4. Now there's variations of this. And then there's also the fact that one relaxes to the getting into total relaxation to the point where virtually your breath becomes as shallow, or the least, as you bring it down to the least amount of breathing that you possibly can. So your body is literally going into deep, in all aspects, just going into deep relaxation. This bringing stillness into our lives, is essential. But there's so many studies these days by one mob or another, one group or another, telling us the benefits of meditation and what it can do to the body. A lot of people who've contracted various ailments have found that meditation can help. There's something that is quite, what would you call it? One call it cutting edge science, but it hasn't been around for long. It's when they've been investigating the genes and the DNA, and now it's called metallization, and they discovered that genes have an on-off switch. It's like a computer, binary. And one experiment was whether turmeric can actually assist in cancer, curing cancer or some other ailments. And in doing that, I'll describe this experiment because it's well worth knowing. They had 3 groups, 40 in each group. One had a placebo, sugar pill, nothing in it. One had turmeric, which was just a pill, just pure plain turmeric as a supplement. And the others had turmeric, which they could have it any way they want as far as intaking it, food. It had to be with food, cooking it, whatever. Whichever, when you had your food, you had to add a teaspoon of turmeric. And the results were, after 6 to 8 weeks, nothing for the placebo, nothing for the turmeric supplement, but there was this amazing result. We're getting up in the 80s in some areas. And what they found it did do, in this metallization with the DNA, there's these on-off switches, and it's called, don't get anxious, don't worry, don't get cancer, there's these genes here, don't get depressed. And what they found with taking this turmeric was that for the anxiety, don't get anxious, it actually kept them at that, because what happened with depression, because your body can, for whatever's been happening to you, can switch it off, and instead of don't get depressed, your DNA is now saying get depressed. Don't get anxious, it's now saying get anxious. And they found it, and don't get cancer or get cancer. So it's within the body, within the DNA, the structure of the DNA, just on-off switch metallization. And so it found with turmeric, which is this was all they were looking at, was with anxiety, depression and cancer, it had quite a very, very definite effect. In fact, they were extremely surprised at the results. Now, most people take turmeric for it's anti-inflammatory. Eugene, it's called in Chinese medicine. And a lot of people have problems with and they take glucosamine, which they found the same people who are doing these tests with turmeric found that it didn't have much or virtually no results at all. It was fairly inconclusive, and the placebo was nearly as much as the people taking the glucosamine for the inflammation of the joints. Whereas they find I've found with friends of mine that with the various inflammations, the turmeric has been amazing stuff. So this is not so much to talk about turmeric, so pardon me for my digression. But it's this with this metallization and this on-off switch. Don't get cancer, get cancer. Don't get depressed, get depressed. It's meditation, self-awareness, inner stillness that can affect these on-off switches and affect, and the end result is affecting our lives. So meditation is highly therapeutic, quite apart from anything else. Getting back to the Cathars and their meditation, what other point? A trick that was given to me, a suggestion is probably a better word, was that when one commences meditation, and many types of meditation will start with a number of deep breaths, usually three, maybe more, but usually three. Breathe in and let it out, and in letting it out, just let out as much as possible. But the suggestion given to me was, by an actor in fact, was that when you take these 3 deep breaths at the beginning, just to let everything out and relax your body, was to also just expel or just get rid of the thoughts in your mind. Thoughts, that's good thoughts. Positive thoughts and negative thoughts. Get rid of it. The idea is to get rid of them all. So you're literally getting thoughts out of the mind. So most people have their own individual way of meditating. But may I suggest to you that I'll call it the Cathar way, but it's used in China, it's used in India. It's not. We're talking about Cathar. So it was a system that they had, whereby they wanted to just get and blank off the mind, and allow the heart to communicate with the divine, the source, your guides, or whatever. But it's just quite apart from all that. Cathars or any other group, it's a great way, because if you can suddenly blank off your mind, it's like giving you a lot of people say, I want self-mastery. I want to do this, and I want to master my body. And well, this is mastering your mind to a degree, because normally our mind just keeps going day and night. Our conscious, subconscious, it just keeps going. But with this system is that you're there and you can blank off your mind totally. And again, just to go over it, the system is not difficult to do it. It's not so difficult. It's the system knowing how to do it is easy. Doing it is not so simple. And you just have to try it until you get it. And once you get it, you've got it. It's like riding a bike. But the idea is to might be love. Actually, one of the Cathar used to have a system of vowels, and there's on YouTube you can look up the cattle herder, or La Boyer, B-O-I-E-R, but the cattle herder, and there's a couple of versions, but in it, it's an old Cathar tune, and it's quite good for meditating as well. But they use the vowels, and they go, pardon my voice, A, I, E, O, A, I, E, O. And this is a Cathar system of meditating, just using the vowels, so it's very easy to remember. So in doing that, if we'll use the vowels, it's just saying it out loud, then soften it, soften it, soften it, until it's only in the mind. And in the mind, just let it go whichever way it wants to go. Don't have any particular control whether it's going fast or slow. Just let it happen, and just let it drift and drift and drift and drift and drift and drift away to that point. It's just totally gone, and then you've cracked it, or you haven't. And when you do, suddenly you've got this. You're just looking at this blank mind, but you can see that I-O drifting away, and to get this blank mind. So this is what they were aiming at, and having got that, it's literally meditating. And rather than this, we use our hands. This is the Cathar system when they meditated. And just arriving at, because it's firstly total stillness, and just allowing your inner self to do the communication. You're not doing anything, just allow whatever happens to happen. The one thing about stillness, quietness, if nothing else, you're not doing yourself any harm, and it's giving one a sense of control about one's life and how one lives one's life. And there's so many things in life we can't control. In fact, I don't know what percentage it would be, and I don't know if anyone's worked it out, but so many things happen that we have to, it virtually points us in some direction that we have to go. You know, we lost our job. Okay, well, you can go so long. If you've got a bit of money in the bank, well, you can go so long without a job, but you've got to somehow get money in, so you've got to get a job or rob a bank or something. But we need money to live. That's a fact of life. So often a situation happens, someone in the family gets ill, and so you've got to assist that person, give them a hand or something, and so we just do it. So often life just literally points us in a particular direction, and that's the way we're meant to go. And we've got a job, and we just get so angry sometimes and so upset about the job, we just, that's enough, and you walk out, and then suddenly you get a great job. You go, why didn't I do that before? But you wouldn't have done it if you didn't get angry enough to leave the job in the first place. So all these things come into our lives, but and we don't have a great deal of control over it. But with meditation is one form that we can do and give us some form of self-control and self-mastery, and it's affecting our DNA. And more and more studies that they do, the all results are always positive. Next Sunday, noon, 12 o'clock, the 5th, we're doing a healing, and I start at 12. It'll go for, well, it just goes until it stops, which is 20 minutes, 25 minutes, something like that. And it's just, I'm doing it for people who subscribed, because it's a group of people. If they're subscribed, obviously interested in this particular channel. And it just narrows it down to a group. And it's just about, if there's some aspect of yourself that you'd like to have healed, or somebody else, it's just a period of healing, and if we're all doing it at the same time and directing it to we direct our healing, and everybody has the capacity to heal, but it's a submerged quality, because it's just submerged under the busyness and the hectic to and throwing of life. So it's just to bring a little bit of this stillness, this healing into it, the colours, there are healing colours. When I heal, the healing colours comes, that vibrates from my hands. I can tell you what they are. They're sapphire blue, turquoise, and sea green. So if you can picture those colours, that's good. So whatever happens, it's not going to do you any harm. So, and to finish, I've been finishing just on a minute or so of stillness. So at the end of this little bit of a session, we're bringing a little bit of stillness into our lives. And so I'll just close my eyes for a minute, and you can switch off or go along with me for a minute. Okay. Okay, for that small section there, I blanked off my mind. So the only thing that I was conscious of, I've got a blank screen. I just heard that music in the background. Bye for now. Talk to you soon. And noon on Sunday, 5th of February. Bye.